What's good, y'all? Welcome to the Let's Be Real podcast. I'm your host, Channing, and alongside me, I have my boy Taj. Taj, how we doing today, bro?
I'm feeling great, my brother. Feeling great. Saints just got the dub tonight, so even better. How you feeling?
2-0, baby. 2-0. I mean, the defense looks good, you know what I'm saying? I'm glad we was able to pull it out 2-0 on the season. You know, we're going to Green Bay next week. Hopefully we can make it 3-0. But, Saints, they're gonna stress you out. So, you just gotta take it for what it is. How's work been and everything at the Home Depot?
Been pretty smooth. Pretty smooth, going, get the job done. It's like that.
I feel you.
Kind of feel, somebody missing,
man. I wonder what that might be. I have a
my finger on it too.
It's like I have a few names in mind, but I just can't pinpoint anything. Yeah. As far as everything on my end, we knee deep into the semester now. We really in the thick of things. I'm working on a lot of things right now, like the podcast, class, got work. I've been all right though. I'm gonna keep it real. Last week was kind of rough for me, but got through it. Thanks to God, thanks to you, your encouraging words. So I definitely appreciate you for that. But the topic for today's episode, as Taj eats his ramen noodles. What flavor is that, by the way? What flavor is that?
Strawberry flavor.
Oh, my bad. My boy eating healthy. My bad. Cutting back on the sodium. The topic of today's podcast is accountability. Something that we have wanted to talk about on here for a minute. We've talked about it amongst each other, just in regular conversation. We've talked about it for hours. We talked about it for weeks, months, what it looks like, how to hold yourself accountable, how to hold other people accountable. So we're going to get into that a little bit today. But I want to ask Taj, when you think about the word accountability, what comes to mind?
The word accountability.
For me,
I believe.
Go ahead.
I believe that it's really being responsible for the decisions you make, actions, just the overall path that you take in life. I say it like this: you're not also disciplined, but I get to that level. But responsibility, you have certain things you have to do, right? You don't want to do them, but when you do them, it's worth. It's going to be worth it alone. So I believe that you're responsible for your actions, you're responsible for your the tasks, the duties, the things that help profit you, carry your life.
I mean, it sounds good. It definitely sounds good, and we're gonna get into it in a little bit. By the way, I forgot to mention, follow us on social media on Instagram, LBR Podcast 01. And if you follow us there and look in the bio, there's gonna be a link to everything that we have the podcast on. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, YouTube, the reels we post on TikTok and everything. So be sure to there you go. Be sure to be sure to check that out. I forgot to mention that in the beginning. And on the topic of accountability, I know on the podcast we've been preaching consistency. And things come up from time to time. Life be lifing, life be throwing you curveballs and sliders and screwballs and 12-6 curves and epheses and shit. But we preach consistency. And when we're not consistent, we need to hold each other accountable to that standard. And that's something that we haven't been doing, both of us. And this is one of the reasons why we wanted to bring this topic to you guys today. So we appreciate y'all for listening. Like I said, be sure to follow us on Instagram at LBR Podcast 01. We appreciate all the feedback, and we have a very exciting episode for you guys today. By the way, did I mention the Saints are 2-0? You know what I'm saying? Got the I'm repping a Kamara jersey. I'm repping a Kamara jersey right now. Y'all can't really see it, but my boy gonna be back in week 4, and we really gonna turn up. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just a warm up. You know what I'm saying?
Kamara versus the Niners.
It's going ain't gonna be nothing nice. You know what I'm saying? So appreciate y'all for listening. I want to give y'all a little preview of what we're gonna talk about. Let's start with the definition of accountability. When I searched up accountability on Google, this is what I found. The acceptance of responsibility, which Taj just mentioned, for one's own actions. I'm going to say it one more time. The acceptance of responsibility for one's own actions. That's the definition I found on accountability. Some examples include that I found calling your teammate out for a missed assignment. A lot of us have played organized sports, basketball, soccer, football, baseball, volleyball, tennis, whatever the case may be. You've been a part of a group where you had to work together towards a common goal. And if everybody's not on the same page, it's not so easy to achieve that common goal. Sometimes people are out of line. Sometimes people lose sight of the common goal or lose sight of the goal that was established when the team was brought together. You think about Marvel, the Avengers, they had a goal in mind, to avenge the world, to protect the world's mightiest heroes. You think about businesses when they come together for meetings, trying to better the company or the brand. They come together with different ideas, and ultimately they have a goal to succeed, whatever that goal may look like. Maybe more reach, more audience, more growth, whatever the case may be. There's a common goal, and sometimes some of the people in that group, they don't align with their actions, and their words don't align with what the goal was to begin. So I use that example, calling your teammate out for a missed assignment. Me and Taj have played organized sports before. There's been a lot of times where either one of our teammates or even our own coach, the coach really did it most of the times. Like when I was playing AAU as a kid, the coach would hold us accountable for the mistakes we made, right? So you play AAU, park ball. Can you ever think of a time where the coach held you accountable, and how did you take that? Were you like the kind of person that was like, okay, I'll do better next time, or you was like, okay, and kind of brush it off to the side? Like, what was that like for you?
Being honest, I'm stubborn. I was stubborn. Like I had my teammates and the coaches. You're like, Taj, I can do it this way, but you gotta try doing this way. I'm like, okay, I do it this way. I saw something different, you know. And like I said, I understood what they were saying, but sometimes my vision, which I gotta work on. You gotta learn to be a student too. Everything ain't always going to be your way. So, like I said, I realized that I was stubborn most times, but the play didn't work out right because I was still taking my lead. So, yeah.
I like that you mentioned stubborn. I have in my notes here, we struggle with our pride and ego. We can't take criticism sometimes. And I think the example that you just used, your teammates and your coaches holding you accountable, saying that you should have did this better, or you should have did that better, or you shouldn't have did this, or you shouldn't have did that. That was something that your ego, your pride, and your stubbornness got in the way of you learning from that moment. And I feel like that's something that we all struggle with. Like, for the most part, some people are students of the game. Some people are willing to take constructive criticism. Some people actually listen. But I feel as if naturally, as humans, we don't like criticism of any kind, whether it's constructive or it's just, BS criticism. Another example I have is confronting your coworker for poor behavior. you probably experienced this at work, whether you were held accountable by another coworker of yours, an associate manager, a manager at your job. Once again, when a team comes together, when a business has a common goal, everybody has to be on the same page so that they can reach that goal. If somebody's not in line with what the goal was, or if somebody tries to do their own way and be stubborn and selfish and not take constructive criticism, then it's going to be that much harder to achieve a goal. And the last thing that I have is checking in with a partner who started a fast. Now, our last episode was on immediate gratification and being satisfied and receiving pleasure in fast and easy ways. So, a lot of people like to start the new year off with fast. I know some of my family members have started fast and they still, like most fasts that people do is probably like a month or two. And then after that, they go back to, but some people actually continue that. Like once they do the fast, they're like, maybe this is a way that I can live for a little bit longer. But let's say me and you start a fast today and we say, all right, for the first month of 2024, no fast food, no soft drinks. So no Popeyes, no McDonald's, no Chick-fil-A, no Sonic, no Wendy's, no Burger King.
I don't think Chick-fil-A fast food, bro.
I mean, it is food. It is food, and you get it fast.
Everything else fast food, Chick-fil-A.
If we being honest, the food come fastest at Chick-fil-A. You know what I'm saying? Before you even get out your order, they be like, here you go, sir. My pleasure. My pleasure. I be like, damn. That's crazy. Like, I was gonna order something else, but I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? Like, fast food, like, come on, Chick-fil-A, you gotta throw that in. You gotta throw that in. I know they got like salads and stuff. They got like wraps and other things of that nature. Water, bottled water. But Dasani?
I believe in Dasani.
Oh, see, that's nah. Nah.
I drink out of the river before I drink Dasani.
Nah, I drink from the dirtiest water fountain in the world before I drink Dasani. I'd rather drink in the Mississippi. Ain't that water like brown or green or something? Ain't that water like brown or green or like yellow? Shit, crazy. You go to Mexico, that water pristine blue. That shit green, nigga. Like this shit beautiful. Nah, you come down to Louisiana, like bro. Coming back to we just went on a little tangent right there. But coming back to it, me and Ty started fast. It's like no fast food, no soft drinks. If we're a weekend and we're doing good, 9 times out of 10, we're holding each other accountable. Not only ourselves, but we're holding one another accountable.
Yeah, that makes our bond stronger.
It does.
Like, what can I say? You actually showing that you kept that person. By actually, but all right, well, once this, we'll be talking to another person. I appreciate you. I kept you. So I'd rather we both call each other out on stuff that we're doing that we're not doing, rather than be like, all right, and we'll do it. All right, that's cool. You ain't do it. Okay, that's cool. What about do this again? If you get a person that we with, that do what we can, that person might not do it. And that person might never reach that full potential that you see in that person. So I think it's best that you hold each other accountable, and I'll do it when I can. You gotta get that in the bud. Sometimes it's not. You can't use that card every time. You gotta face it. Put the pride and the procrastination to the side. Get accomplished what you have.
It's not always so easy to hold yourself and especially somebody else accountable. Like I feel like I surround myself around a lot of yes people. And I think naturally as humans, we try not to create conflict or we try to avoid conflict at all costs. But sometimes you gotta call a spade a spade. I say it a lot. Sometimes you just gotta call BS out. When somebody's out of line, out of character, you gotta, if you genuinely care about that person, you need to be able to firmly tell them, okay, what you're doing right now is not it. You need to change course. You need to get back into your lane. And
I've had countless times. We definitely check you 50 times. 50 times.
it trust me, when I did that, it wasn't easy.
Right.
Cause it's like telling somebody that they not doing what they supposed to do, that hurts. Cause we always feel like we doing the right thing. Like, we obviously know right from wrong, but having somebody tell you like, nah, you bugging, bro. And we gonna get into this in a little bit, like what accountability looks like and how we think we should hold ourselves and the people around us accountable. But it's not always easy. Calling somebody out when they mess up on a job, with the podcast, like going back to us staying consistent, we've been preaching consistency and quality episodes, but we haven't
Right.
been following up on that word. Like we was talking about the other day, you used the word hypocritical. Like how can we tell ourselves that we want to be consistent and encourage our listeners and viewers to be consistent, but we're not following up on that? That makes us look like hypocrites. Like we're not men of our word. Like we just saying stuff because it sound good. And consistency with this, especially since I would like to think we're both on our purpose. Like I'm in school, Taj is working at Home Depot and doing some other things on the side. And we're always on our purpose. So sometimes life, like Taj said, life be lifing. Life be throwing curveballs and things happen, but you gotta show up. And if you don't show up, you have to be willing to hold yourself accountable. Tell yourself, you said this, you need to follow up on it.
And once again, you can do that. When you follow on the stuff that you had set for yourself, that just shows how much strength you have, how much dedication, how much that just shows how much of character to yourself. Not to other people, but to yourself. Like showing that to yourself, or showing that showing that to myself every time. But like you said, at times, there are times when I don't feel like doing the task or putting myself accountable. But when I do that, and sure discipline and stuff like that, I feel good. Working out, eating right, all the benefits you receive from that. Just putting your needs first. Actually doing what you need to do. Feels so great. That feels so great, and for you to continue to do that, even when times get hard. I just saw how really resilient that person could be, and how you could attract more people would be the epitome. It would lead and get other people to follow suit too. Just by you doing that, you get inspired about being disciplined, putting work, and fighting a hard time, procrastination, I'll do it later, all that. So you try and do that, you inspire them.
Leading by example is important. I'm glad you just mentioned that. Like showing people that you hold yourself accountable and you do what you have to do and you stay on your purpose. That's a way. That's a form of accountability. That's what accountability looks like sometimes. Tongue twister, motherfucker. It's a tough word when you say it a lot of times. Shit.
Accountability.
Shout out to our followers and our listeners and our viewers, man. Like we really appreciate y'all. But I have a Bible verse right here that I want to read. It's 1 Corinthians 10 and 13. It says, God is faithful. He will not allow the temptation to be more than you can stand. We as humans all deal with temptation from time to time. We deal with temptation from greed, lust, cheating, gluttony, We all deal with issues. We all deal with temptation. We all deal with sin. God is telling us in the Bible, which, by the way, is the most sold book in the entire world. He is telling us, or Jesus is telling us, or the Bible is telling us, God is faithful. He will not allow the temptation that we all deal with to be more than you can stand. So everything that you deal with in life, for example, lust, thinking lustfully, thinking impure thoughts, he won't allow you, he won't give you anything that you can't handle, I should say. So when you deal with these temptations, it's important to hold yourself accountable. And I have in my notes, we're gonna get into it later. I have a little formula, not even a formula, just like a breakdown of what dealing with issues look like and how to hold yourself accountable. But I just want to say that you have to hold yourself accountable when you deal with these issues and these temptations. When you have the sudden urge to do something, you have to fight that temptation. You have to make the conscious choice and tell yourself no or yes, depending on what it is. You can't fall short. And I think accountability ties into instant gratification too. If you surround yourself around yes men who know that you messing up, who know you're not on your purpose, but they don't want to hurt your feelings and say, "Oh, I don't want to tell him he not doing this thing because he been going through it a lot, and I'm gonna just let him coast." It might be cool right now, and I just said it ties into instant gratification because when you indulge in those things, when you're led by your feelings and emotions and impulses, when you're led by Popeyes, it feels good in a moment. It tastes good in a moment. It gives you immediate pleasure. But what does it do for you in the long term? If you surround yourself around yes men who tell you straight to your face that what you're doing is right and you're on the right path and you know that you're not, it might be good right now, but later down the line, 10 years from now, you're gonna be on a path to destruction. If you're not living a life that's led by the spirit instead of the flesh, then you're on a path of destruction. As opposed to surrounding yourself around people who will tell you no and who will hold you accountable and who will tell you when you're doing wrong and when you're not on your purpose and things of that nature. It might hurt in the moment. It might be like, damn, I got to get my shit together. But at least you realize that. And now you can start to take action to better yourself, to improve yourself. That way, moving forward into the future, you'll be better off. So it's really like making a conscious decision that's like holding yourself accountable and the people around you now instead of later down the line is going to benefit you in the future. Did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
Uh, yeah. By being accountable, that's just the first step. That's a fire hat, though.
Appreciate it. Shout out to my girlfriend Amaya. She gave me this hat, but go ahead.
Yeah, by being accountable, that is the first step. By acknowledging wrong, so just acknowledging that you need to do something right. After you do that, I believe, what's next? What's the next steps after you taking accountability for your actions? Are you gonna work on it to not make those actions again? Or are you gonna say say that you're not gonna do it again. You know what I'm saying? Like, do something opposite of what you said. So, like I said, your word is bond. If you say you're not gonna do it, you gotta practice, not practice, you gotta work on yourself. Work on not doing those actions again. Because if it happened again, the word means nothing. You will lose so much integrity. Not just like your word, your character, it diminishes your character if you don't stand on your word. So I believe after taking accountability, make some steps to show that you're accountable for your actions. Not the same. Actions speak louder than what?
Words, always. Any
Nah, that's some stuff I had to learn. So yeah, definitely actions speak louder than words.
anybody can talk, bro. Anybody can talk. But if you don't have any action behind that, then it really means nothing. I wanted to get into this discussion of who in our lives holds us accountable. And I'll start off. I feel like to some degree I hold myself accountable, but I'll be honest, sometimes I don't hold myself accountable how I should. For example, when I know I have a long day ahead of me and I know I have to get up early and shower and get ready and start my day early, things of that nature. Sometimes I don't do that. Sometimes I hit snooze on my alarm. Sometimes I lay in bed, not on my purpose. I don't handle my business. What does accountability or who in your life holds you accountable? My thing is, if you can't hold yourself accountable and the meeting's going to end in 10 minutes, so by the way, once this ends, if we still have things to say, we just going to record another one. So don't worry. We're not going to leave y'all hanging. We're not going to leave y'all hanging. But if you can't hold yourself accountable, how can you expect to hold other people accountable? If you can't hold yourself accountable, if you can't tell yourself no, if you can't control your impulses and your actions, how can you expect to lead a group of men into war? Because, or how do you expect to lead a group into a project or an assignment? Because, life be life and issues are going to arise. How are you going to handle those issues? How are you going to hold your team accountable? So that's really what I had on that. It starts with holding yourself accountable. And then once you do that, maybe you can surround yourself with people who hold you accountable. So what's your thoughts on that?
I just said,
Is that a car alarm going off? Is that a car alarm going off? It might be. Might be outside my room. You go ahead, my bad.
I just said, if you were the fifth smartest person in the room, you get sick for the. I don't, you get what I'm saying? If there are five smart people in the room, if you surround yourself with five smart people, you get six. If you were smart people, surround yourself around five lazy people, you get six. So it's all about who you hang around, who yourself. And then you got a circle of people who follow you and themselves out, y'all will be able to flourish and go further like people that just, hey, just stop the foot. So I believe that it's definitely you smart yourself and also you do it yourself. You do it yourself. Like you said, it starts with yourself. I'm gonna tell you to do this, and I'm not gonna makes my character. You gotta lead by example. Not doing it, not lead by example. I believe that it's definitely with yourself. Everything starts with yourself. Love, self-love, focus. You gotta focus on yourself first. Then you should be able to watch other people.
I think an important part of it is discipline and self-control. I struggle with staying disciplined and controlling myself and my emotions. A lot of times when I wake up, I don't feel like doing anything, and I need like a little boost or like some juice or some motivation to get through the day, or at least get through a segment of the day. But discipline is like you may not want to do it right now, but you have to do it. You need to do this. Like discipline, like training your mind to do what you need to do is something that I struggle with. And I'm sure a lot of people out there, maybe some of our listeners struggle with discipline. Taj is raising his hand. It's a difference between holding yourself accountable when it comes to discipline and motivation. Anybody can be motivated, not everybody can be disciplined. Discipline is really the name of the game because motivation fades. Motivation is like it's here, and it serves it serves its purpose. It's here one day and then it's gone. You got to refill it up. If you're disciplined 24/7, 365, you're gonna do stuff that you don't want to do, but you trained yourself in your mind that you need to do this. You have to do this, and you're gonna go ahead and do it, whether you like it or not, because you know that in order for you to reach the goals that you have in your life, you need to do this. You need to wake up early. You need to be on your purpose. You need to knock out these small little tasks. You need to get going. You can't just lay in bed. Discipline will get you out of bed. Motivation, it depends. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have the motivation to get up. Sometimes you don't. It's important to have motivation, but to me, I've learned it's more important to have discipline. Discipline will carry you places that you couldn't even imagine. But how do you discipline yourself? What does discipline look like? Because it's easy to say one thing. We just mentioned it. Actions speak louder than words. Taj just said it. Actions speak louder than words. We could tell you guys, we could tell ourselves to be disciplined, but it's not always easy. What does discipline look like? What are the steps that you need to take to be disciplined? What are your thoughts on that?
I believe first you gotta know your why. Know your why first. Why you want to do this, or why you want whatever, right? Why you know that, then you'll be able to start, all right, focus on this. Put your focus on it, then the discipline start, I don't feel like doing it, but I know I need to do it. But why? There's no reason why. Say if you have that kid, children, that is your why. So of course you gotta do something to provide for them. What else? You got multiple reasons why, but first find your why, and I believe discipline and start, kicking in. Especially when you want to achieve that goal. You may have the ups and downs, stuff like that. But stick with that wall.
Do you feel like it's hard for you to look in the mirror? Like not literally, but figuratively.
Nah, I mean, how many should you know? Because there's a lot of stuff I don't work on. I know I need to work on. Now, there's constantly like, damn, I did this wrong. Damn, I know I did this better. So it's like I'm still trying to figure out how to go about certain situations, stuff that I did, stuff that I'm still learning. People realize that we are still learning, no matter what age you are, we are still learning. So back to being accountable. Like you said, yourself in the mirror. Of course, you make decisions that you regret. Of course, you make decisions that you don't know how to, that you didn't understand at the time. But looking yourself in the mirror, correcting your own, to understand who you are. I just the human experience as we all go through life. Still figuring out, supplying ourselves, figuring out who we are. But let's continue to look at it. You'll get a better perception of characters, like the character traits, stuff that we hold inside ourselves. How about you?
I feel like looking in the mirror is the hardest battle for a lot of us. For me specifically, it depends on what it is. Like some things I'm just afraid to hold myself accountable for because I know that I made a mistake, but sometimes I'm just not ready to face it because it hurts. Sometimes it hurts holding yourself accountable. It's not always easy, but it's necessary. Go ahead. Go ahead. You got it.
Sometimes that pain will bring strength out of it. You get strength from that pain. Become wise. Now, how you said, it's not verbatim, but a wise man was once a fool.
Mm-hmm.
But basically saying like you learn from your mistakes. Definitely, like you say, look at the mirror, and you paint. She can show you all your flaws and all the things that you're afraid to face in that moment. But once you both self-confident, know that you need to, I would say, fix it, but understand it and correct those things to make you a better person, and it's worth the thing. I don't feel it's worth the thing.
So we got less than a minute left. We're really good in this conversation. Yeah, I know. I know. Uh, we not gonna leave y'all. We're gonna be right back. But I don't want to be cut off abruptly, so we're gonna be right back. Don't worry. So we were talking about how do we hold ourselves accountable, and it starts with holding ourselves accountable, then holding other people accountable. And we also touched on, well, you really touched on it, like surrounding yourself around people who hold you accountable, and the people you hang around is usually the people you end up becoming, right?
Yes, sir.
And if you surround yourself around yes men, if you surround yourself around people who won't call you out on your BS, then you're gonna get what's coming for you. Go ahead.
I got some mad at that. It's kind of like a sub to what you said.
Mm-hmm.
But you said you hang around, it's who you become, but also what you watch, what you listen to, like music, all that shit in the media. You can also subconsciously become that too. The more you pour that into your mind, pour the food and stuff into your body, you can become those entities and stuff like that. So you gotta be careful what you put in between these and what you see. You gotta be careful with all that on your pathway. That's something I'm learning myself too. Because you got secular music, you have a lot of stuff in the media that will go through vision, go through morality. People want certain things. So, but definitely just watch, surrounded by, eat, drink, it's all that. Just watch what you listen, what you consume. What you consume, you can be a product of what you consume. How you say a product of your own environment?
Yeah. Yeah, the whole nature versus nurture debate. I learned about that in my psychology class, but a lot of the stuff that we consume, sometimes we don't even realize it. Like it's subconscious. Like the music we listen to, rap music, the things that we watch, movies, television shows, it starts to become ingrained into our behavior and our mindset and how we think about things. And we don't even realize it. It's like a steady, slow change of behavior and a slow, steady change of how you think. We have to hold ourselves accountable to that, hold ourselves accountable to like what you just said, what goes through here and what we see with these, our senses. We have to be aware of those things. Discipline, self-control, intelligence. I want to get into some people that I, in my life, think hold me accountable. I think Demetrius is a good mentor of ours, someone who really leads by example. You know, when he worked at Home Depot, wherever he was at, good energy, he knew what he was talking about, and he was something that you wanted to work for, and he held you accountable.
I wouldn't even say work for, I say work with, because he was right there with you.
Work with. Right there with you. Work with. Like the difference between a leader and a boss. A boss will tell you what to do. A leader will do it with you. Right? Demetrius was one of those people, and he is one of those people that you want to work with, and you're willing to go the extra mile with. And he holds you accountable. In the conversations we have together, he keeps it real. He tells you things that you need to do, whether you want to hear it or you don't want to hear it. One of the things that he told us a while ago, we was in lumber with, I think Alvin was with us. I don't know if he still works at Home Depot, but Demetrius said, we're not puppets. We are not puppets, meaning We have free will to make our own choices, decisions. We have free will to think how we want, feel how we want, express ourselves how we want. We're not we're not puppets. We're not being pulled by a string or strings from higher ups or like people who control like we are in control of our lives. We have free will. And that's one of the things. He's a very wise person. He's just a beacon of wisdom and somebody who's very humble, very intelligent, and he holds us accountable. Another person I would say is my mom. The Bible says, raise up a child in the way that he should go, and he shall not depart from it. Now, I don't know what exact verse that is, what chapter in the book, but I know it's in the Bible. My mom held me accountable, me and my brother accountable since we was, came out the womb. This is right, this is wrong. And she raised us up to a point where when it was time for us to be independent, when it was time for her to empty the nest, we were able to fly, right? We had our wings and we were able to fly. Like mom was always gonna be there, but at some point, you gotta be independent. And if my mom, because I learned this also in psychology, there's different parenting styles. There's permissive, there's authoritative, there's authoritarian, and then there's another one that I can't think of. But one of those parenting styles allows their children to do whatever they want. Like there's no discipline. There might be nurturing, like there's love and compassion in the child to parent relationship, but there's no discipline. So when the child gets out of line, when they do something wrong, they don't say anything. And they probably think it's right to bite a kid on their neck because they don't know any better. Their parent never disciplined them. They never told them that, no, Johnny, this is wrong. You can't bite people on their neck, right? So my mom did a good job of holding us accountable in different ways, you know, with the belt. She actually, I don't think she ever broke a belt, but you know, like the metal part of the belt. She didn't whip me with it like intentionally, but like it just happened. Like she was just spanking me and she just whipped me with that metal part, bro. I started crying, like for real, and she stopped. But like whipping, whipping, whipping with the belt, you know, those little stern talks that she had where she like pull you in a room and like she just be talking to you for like a whole day, feel like. It'd be like, damn, I really messed up. I gotta get my life together. Those little things, she held me accountable. And if she didn't do those things, I wouldn't be the young man that I am today. And I'm pretty sure you can attest to this too. Like, did your mom? I'm pretty sure your mom did hold you accountable and raised you in the way that you should go. But like, what did that look like for you? Can you kind of dive into that?
Actually, my mom and my dad. I remember one thing that stuck in my head that they used to tell us coming up as children. When you start something, finish it. Start something, finish it. So that's being quick. You know, when I was 7 years old, I was playing football for Buddy Lawson. Shout out to Buddy Lawson.
Them Trojans. Them Trojans. All right, go ahead.
What you said? But I'm saying, start something, don't finish. When I was 7 years old, I tried out football. I was on a team, so I hated it. I always ask my dad, like, I don't want to play. Can I just practice today? He was like, no, no, no. What am I teaching you, brother? To quit. You start something. What are we teaching? And also, I bought you a damn $100 you will play these damn cookies. But still, the whole point of the story is you're not gonna learn if you quit. You're not gonna learn if you don't stick through it. There's one thing you can pick up like, oh, I'm gonna try art today. And you quit. Art could be like that could be your life. You could create so much stuff with art. You go over that painting stuff, you don't know what you do, but quit. You can do music, quit, you never know. Basketball, quit, you never know. You never know. You quit. So you gotta would shout my parents for still in that quote. Start. When you finish something, you gotta start. Whoa. Hold on, man. When you start something, you gotta finish it.
There you go.
I know they tell me that. Start something, you gotta finish it.
There you go. Hey, shout out to moms and dad, man. Shout out to my mom. You know, it goes back to how accountability and instant gratification ties into each other. The times where
nowadays, instant gratification. I can't pick up the phone. Dopamine. Back to the last podcast, like it's still all that dopamine, instant gratification you get like that. But so, and at times like these, you really gotta fight against the waves. Don't try to follow the crowd because everybody's doing it. Still stick with your discipline. If you seem like you're not involved or not with everybody else on with everybody else, so be it. Make your own way. Be your own person. Train at home. Ties glass. We different people. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna do the same thing, but we know that. So just stay on your own path and some discipline. Just practice yourself. Can I get a clap?
remember used to I don't know if you did it during AAU or park ball games, like during warm-ups and like at the very end, like we would clap it up. We would clap it up and get in the huddle. We'd be like 1, 2. We did like a little quick one. We did like a little quick 10-second prayer, like right before we headed out to the court. Man, those were the good days, man.
Hey, I know we get on topic a little bit, but was your AAU team good?
It was pretty good, yeah. Won a few tournaments.
What was the age?
It was like whatever age is 5th, 6th, and 7th grade. So like, I don't know, 11, 12, 13.
Well, I'll say this. We were like 15, 16, 17. Mm-hmm. Y'all team could have beat our team. I swear.
Let's see.
No, we were straight. I promise you, dog. Every team we got thrown out. Every single team, bro. But, that's because we want to organize the team. Yeah, the touch, we got great players. Or we want to organize. That's back to accountability.
It all makes sense. It all ties into each other.
Yeah, man.
It's crazy. Like, how do we hold ourselves accountable?
That's a great question.
And maybe we don't have the answer to it.
What?
Maybe it starts with like setting small goals. Like one thing that I might have told you this. One thing that I do sometimes where I really need to wake up, I'll set my phone across the room so when my alarm goes off, I have to get up out of bed. Maybe small things like that. That way, when you achieve those small goals, you can just build upon it. And maybe being more accountable, maybe you have to go out and search people who you know hold themselves accountable. We just mentioned Demetrius. Demetrius seems like a person who's on his purpose and is led by God and led by the Spirit. Like for real. So maybe it starts by reaching out to mentors that you have or role models or people that you look up to and respect. Maybe ask them, how do you hold yourself accountable? What does discipline look like for you? Is it always easy? Because
follow what you said.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, like we've been saying, surrounding yourself with people who just don't really care, it's not gonna help you. But go ahead.
Especially when you know you got a vision that when God gives you a vision, you know that you hang around people that just like I'm gonna say worldly people, that's not gonna you're not gonna attain the stuff that he has for you by hanging out around worldly people. You know, you gotta surround yourself with people with a purpose. And people that if you don't know your purpose, people that's trying to, trying new things, trying to find something to get into instead of just being here. Every time you be dead while you're alive, it won't be learning. Don't be a walking darkness. There's something with a camera. Camera right here. The person watching, there's something inside of you, okay? There's something inside of you. Let me tell you. Yeah, just if you don't know your purpose, don't sweat. You're still learning. You know, there's a lot of things that are on this earth that we can try. But, I don't know. I just switched the topic up a little bit. So that's
We all works in progress. But when we start to get off the rails, we need to hold ourselves accountable and stay disciplined. I want to end it off with what I had mentioned earlier about this little formula or method of dealing with issues and being disciplined and holding yourself accountable. It's 4 things. There's an issue, right? Let's start with what's an issue that we deal with? Lust. All right. So let me give you all the picture, right? So we're dealing with an issue. There's lust, right? This is the issue that we've been dealing with for years, for months, for weeks, however long. It's one thing to have an issue, and it's another thing to realize that you have an issue. It's one thing to have an issue, and another thing to realize you have an issue. You ever heard during COVID how there's asymptomatic, like some people have COVID and be asymptomatic, like they don't show any symptoms? Or you ever have people who have underlying health conditions, things that the doctors miss on, or things that isn't as noticeable that may cause them health problems? Sometimes we indulge in lust and we don't even know it. Sometimes we have impure and immoral thoughts and we don't even know it. We've been so accustomed to this lifestyle that it's ingrained into our minds that this is the norm. We feed our flesh so much that it's like, this is just another day. Sex, pornography, lust. So we don't even realize there's an issue. How can you combat an issue if you don't know it's there? So there's an issue, there's lust. And the next step is realization. Realization is understanding that there is an issue. Not only understanding that there is an issue, but you need to take action to combat this issue. But it starts with realization. You have to understand and realize that there is an issue present and you have to do something about it. If you skip that step, then it won't work. You have to realize that you have an issue, in this case, lust, and you have to do something about it. How do you do something about it? Self-reflection, reflecting on yourself, looking at yourself in the mirror, looking at your flaws, looking at your imperfections, being real with yourself. This is what this podcast is about, being real. Looking at yourself in the mirror, reflecting on yourself and saying, this is what I struggle with. These are the issues that I'm dealing with. I realize that, and now I'm reflecting over it. I'm reflecting over what it's been doing to my life, reflecting over how my life can be better if I eliminate these things. Self-reflection, that's another thing that we, I'm gonna say we because I don't like saying y'all because we all, me, Taj, and everybody in this world deals with issues. This is not a condescending podcast. We're not telling you guys that we're the staple, we're the standard, and you have to follow us because we're in the same boat as y'all. We are not. We just, you know what I'm saying? We just going. We in the same boat as y'all. We don't realize that we have to do some self-reflection if we want change. We have to reflect on ourselves and understand who we are and where we are in life, what present state we are, so that we can take the appropriate action, which I'm about to get into, the last step, action, so we can know what action to take so that we can better ourselves. So here's the last step. There's an issue. You realize that there's an issue. You reflect on yourself and the issue itself, and then you take action. What does action look like? What does action look like? Action to me looks like once you've done the self reflection, you set a goal in mind and you stick to that goal. And you have to be disciplined and have self control so that you can stick to that goal and stick to that action. Because you've done everything else. You know what the problem is, you know what the issue is, you've done the self reflection, but none of that means anything if you don't take action. Anybody can look at film after a game and realize they missed an assignment. But if you don't come into the next game and pick up where you messed up, it don't mean nothing. You can do all the studying, you can watch all the film, you can do all the reflection on yourself. Oh, I need to do this better. It goes back to what we said, actions speak louder than words. It don't mean anything. You can have an issue, you can realize there's an issue, you can do self-reflection, but if you don't take the appropriate action, it doesn't mean anything. There's people who have very serious addictions and they know they have addictions. They realize they have addictions. They've done the self-reflection and therapy to combat these addictions. But if they don't take the appropriate action, if they don't stay disciplined to their goals that they have in mind that they've set to combat these issues, they don't stay disciplined, they don't have self-control, they don't take action, it doesn't mean anything. So that's all I have. Issue, you realize there's an issue, you do self-reflection, and then you take action. So, I mean, that's really it. Accountability. This is something that we could talk about for hours, hours, days. We it's pushing it a little bit, but you know, just know we could talk about this. This is another topic we could talk about. It's a very deep layered topic. And to be quite honest, we haven't even really gotten that deep into it. This is kind of surface level stuff. But yeah, what what are your thoughts on everything?
First of all, you look at shot.
You think so?
I think I stars there.
Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond.
Back to the topic. I believe this episode in particular would definitely help us all with our overall discipline. And discipline can branch to multiple things with yourself and your actions. And basically cause and effect. You have discipline. Your family wouldn't be so bad if you didn't have discipline. So I'm gonna call for accountability, man.
Give it up, man. Everybody, this has been another installment of the Let's Be Real podcast. Trust me, guys, we're going to stay consistent. I'm going to hold this nigga accountable. and he's gonna hold, and I'm gonna hold myself accountable. Right? We gotta stay consistent. We need this.
And trust me, when you hold somebody accountable, just know that if somebody holds you accountable, know that person is coming from a place of genuineness, sincerity, like they actually care. They want to see you, like I said before, they want to see you go up and not go down. So I know people, sometimes myself, they construct criticism that's like, oh, this person judging. Like, I don't really want to judge, but sometimes it's pretty judging because I'm not doing this way on making mistakes and this and that. Realizing that now, I believe that people that do hold me accountable, it's like, or give me constructive criticism, basically saying, hey, we want you going up, not going down, not going left, not going right, you going up. You know, and we're here with you, not just talking to you, just to be talking to you. You know, we're not just giving you words, we're giving you knowledge, we're giving you wisdom, we're giving you strength. So it's that person that's able to check you in a positive way. And that person, make sure you do the same to that person.
Yes. It's gotta be reciprocated. It's gotta be reciprocated. It gotta be, you know. Yeah. So, like I said, this has been another installment of the Let's Be Real podcast, episode 4 on accountability. Stay tuned for the next episode. Few more things before we head out, and Taj ends us off with his signature prayer. I do want to say, once again, thank you. Thank you to all of our followers. We almost to 100 on Instagram, huh? Something like that. I think we're at 94, 95 right now. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to the followers, the listeners, the viewers, the people who give us feedback on how the podcast could be better. Me and Taj were just talking about this. Like, when you start something, it's not going to be the best. When you start something new and you really don't know what you're doing, it's not going to be the best. But you got to start. You got to start. Go ahead.
What was our first podcast?
Our first podcast was Man in the Arena. Yep. And I go ahead. I really wanted that to be the first episode, cause like that's the staple of, I feel like, this podcast. But go ahead.
Where's the genius, man? That is a genius move, though.
You see. That's why I said go ahead, cause I knew you was gonna forget. I knew it.
Hey, don't worry. I'm remembering
Top. What? All right. We gonna wrap it up. We gonna wrap it up, but I just want to say this: we gonna have a bonus episode dedicated to top 5 best feelings in the world and top 5 worst feelings. We gonna come together with our list. We gonna discuss. We gonna debate. That's gonna be a bonus episode.
I can tell you one right now.
Go ahead. Hey, you gotta hold it too. Nigga, you run into the bathroom like, man, what?
That's great,
bro. I said, bro, it's one of them ones. But yeah, we gonna have to have a bonus episode. Top 5 best feelings in the world and top 5 worst feelings. We gonna come together. We gonna discuss. We might debate a little bit, but stay tuned for that. Not saying it's gonna be the next episode or the episode after that, but stay tuned for that. We're gonna see if we can do something like that. But yeah, this is episode 4 on accountability. What?
Oh, sorry. You don't think about hitting the bumps, you gotta take a meal or two.
Yeah, bro. And them red lights seem a little longer than they should be, you know? And them, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I think it took it big.
Bro, when it really get bad, like bad, like I'm about to piss on myself. Like
Oh, shit.
that water bottle, that water bottle, nigga. Water bottle, nigga. Clutch. The water bottle. Bro, by any means. But let's wrap this up. Let's stop playing. Episode 4 on accountability. We appreciate y'all for listening and tuning in. I'm gonna hand it over to Taj with the prayer. So go ahead, Taj.
Father God, I'd like to thank you for allowing us to come together and give us all this message from about accountability. Allow each and every one of us to take the message and to apply that message in our lives, to learn from, to help others learn, to give ourselves grace as well too, Father. Father God, we appreciate you for being able to seeing us through thick and thin, Father God. Good days and bad days, Father God. That's that you need to watch over us. So unfortunately, you didn't. Father God, allow us to pour into ourselves so we can help pour into others. Father God, thank you for the breath that you've given us. We ask that you help us use that breath for great things. Father God, thank you for allowing us to create this platform, help ourselves, help others, come together as a community, Father God. Makes us continue to help build our courage and our strength, Father God. Help us grow in wisdom, self-control, and love, Father God. Father God, we thank you for everything that you do for us, everything that you did, everything that you will do. Father God, thank you.
Amen. That was a good one, bro. That was probably your best one. That was probably your best one. That was really good. But do you have anything else to say before we wrap it up? Before we end it?
What I have anything else to say before we end episode 4? Now, go Saints.
Go Saints, baby. 2-0. 2-0. I just want to say, be kind, and to God be the glory. So, this has been Let's Be Real. We appreciate y'all for tuning in, and we'll catch y'all next time. Peace.